Hi everyone, I just wanted to give you some feedback on the Web Technologies assessment that you've just completed. So I think that the thing that most people want to know with this kind of stuff is how you've got on in relation to everybody else on the course. So if I tell you that the average mark for this assignment was 57%, out of that 57% it splits up in terms of degree classifications like this. So there were 14 people who got a first class mark, 15 people who got upper second class, i.e. 60 to 69%, 19 people who got a 2-2, 50 to 59%, 7 people who got a third, 40 to 49%, and 4 people who managed to get a fail between 30 and 40%. So I guess to start with I should concentrate on the positives, and to me the biggest positive out of this was the amount of work that almost everybody put into this project or this assignment. So I was really impressed with how hard you worked. I appreciate the number of hours people have put into this was huge in some cases, and I think it's really important for me to say that that applies to being impressed with the people who got fantastic marks by virtue of that effort, but also there's a chunk of you for whom this isn't really your favourite topic, you're not really that keen, you're not a natural web programmer. But I appreciate that there's quite a lot of you showed a great level of maturity, put a great amount of effort into something you're not that keen on, and your reward has been to get a pass in the module. Maybe you got 50 something percent, which is fantastic, you know. So it's not all just about those people who scored a first class mark, it's about everybody who realised the potential. So congratulations, I think, to everybody who worked really hard and who got what was a great mark for you. I think I should just mention there are 3 people who scored 100% in the technical part, the functional part of the marking scheme, and those people produced an amazing level of ability with PHP programming, which perhaps we'll come back to. So fantastic effort. If we look at the characteristics of the best websites, then yeah, they had great design, although most of the effort was focused on the functionality of them. As I've mentioned, some people did some amazing stuff with PHP. To get a first class mark, you didn't have to do amazing stuff, you had to get the database stuff working and implement something in a reasonably slick way that worked well within your context of your assignment. And quite a lot of people managed to do that. So they took the class notes, worked their way through them, added some extra stuff on the top of that, and got a great first class mark. If you didn't have a database working, then really there wasn't a prospect of you getting a first class mark. So I think that was really important. I think the strategy is really important as well. So some people really connected to this assignment with a great strategy, even if they didn't necessarily like the module. So a great strategy is, first of all, understanding the assignment brief, understanding the marking scheme which has been available on Blackboard, understanding exactly what you had to do in order to achieve a certain grade. So that level of understanding of everything is really important. Critically, understanding how you could take class exercises that you got working and move them into your assignment to get marks for them. So some people did that really successfully and did a great job of taking stuff we'd done and that you got working in classes and converting it into your assignment. There was 1 or 2 people who, you know, it's all just a little bit disappointing. When I came to mark your assignment, I'm looking at it thinking, well, you know, I've seen you getting better stuff than this working in the class, and so 1 or 2 people just didn't quite manage to get that transition from working classroom exercises into something that was integrated into your assignment. Lots of people did a nice incremental approach, which was really important. So you work on a bit at a time, get a bit better, and then when it comes to assignment time you stop working in that way and you present at whatever level you've achieved. 1 or 2 people went for a sort of bigger bang approach, so they tried to do something really sophisticated, really complicated. For some people it really worked and they got a great mark out of it, which was great. Some people it didn't work and then you're left with not that much. So it's a really dangerous strategy, and I think for all your assignments in the future I'd really recommend you try and think about doing an incremental approach so you've got a safety net if things go wrong near a demo time. Okay, so in terms of the presentations themselves, Really impressed with how confident you were at doing those presentations. Good to have a story, good to have prepped how you're going to run through your site. Make sure that I've seen everything. Make sure, for example, if you've got an email, sort of form to email kind of bit of program working, that you demonstrate that to me. You have your email open, we can see that email arriving in your inbox. If it works on your phone, be prepared to show it to me on your phone. So, you know, be prepared to take the initiative and show me the best bits of your work. And of course, as always, don't tell me the bad stuff. So don't tell me about things that didn't work or things that you were thinking of doing but you never quite got started. So I think overall it was, for most people, it was really good. A little message for the people who got between 30 and 40%. Just important to reiterate that if you're in that category and you pass every other module, you will get a compensated pass at the Board of Examiners, and your Web Tech mark, because it's your worst mark of all of the modules in year 2, will not count towards your final degree classification. So if you pass everything else, you're still okay. If you don't pass the other modules or some of the other modules, then you will have to resit Web Tech and the other modules that you've failed. So there is a bit of pressure on you to make sure that you pass everything else and have a successful transition into year 3. So just to sum up, I was really pleased with all the effort that everybody had put in. Really, really great set of results, I thought. Really pleased for both the people at the top and also the people who scored a mark that kind of realised your potential. Really impressed with the maturity of quite a lot of you who didn't enjoy this module. I think next year some of you ought to be thinking about doing a web project that would allow you to get a great mark. So I'm perfectly happy to have a chat about that at some point between now and the summer. I'm sure a lot of you are sitting there thinking, thank goodness we don't have to do any more web. And you know, I'm not offended by that. I'm glad you've stuck with it. I'm glad you've made it through this part of the course, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the course. Okay, thanks very much for all your efforts, and I'll see you around.